Urban+Love Daily+Dog Food+Single female lead, simply put, a person from Quancheng, Shandong Province, a cheerful and ordinary-looking big boy, after 5 years of social life, was reborn and returned to the day after graduating from university. As a result, God had an eye, and at the beginning, he won 80 million yuan in the lottery. He originally wanted to rely on interest to survive. How could the heavens feed the food to the mouth? There are no top-tier advertisements from previous lives in this life. God, give me something to eat. Simple and helpless, I could only act as a copywriter while holding on to a beautiful little rich woman, leading a boring life. Many years later. Reporter. Mr. Jian, how did you gradually become an advertising tycoon? Simple. Hi, it's not worth mentioning, it's just a natural talent. Beautiful rich woman. Husband elbow. Come home with me. Simple. I'm really out of it. Chapter 1. Rebirth at the beginning. Sent to the station by a beautiful woman. You are listening at novel full.audio. Simple rebirth. That's right. It's just simple. Reborn. This incident happened suddenly and cannot be explained from a scientific perspective. Simple, a person from Quancheng, Shandong Province, an ordinary and cheerful young boy. As for the origin of his name, it comes from an honest and hard-working working-class family's most sincere expectations for their children. Simply keep it simple. Before his rebirth, he was an ordinary office worker, a career that sounded very promising. During my school years, I was just a good student with good grades, who spoke in a civilized and polite manner. When I see my aunt, I greet her. When it rains, I know how to run home. When I meet an old lady crossing the road, he leads me and runs. This is an outstanding young man who, after 4 years of further education at Shandong University, returned with honor and joined a company 5 kilometers away from home. After 5 years of unremitting leading colleagues to fish, the company finally went bankrupt. On the day of resignation, I bid farewell to my colleagues with tears in their eyes and a smile on their face, and then closed my eyes. I returned to the day after graduating from college and returning home. Simple and understandable, after all, there are unpredictable circumstances in the sky, and people have misfortunes and blessings. The unexpected rebirth makes him feel a bit overwhelmed, but more importantly, it is a surprise. It seems that this is God's reward for helping the old lady cross the road for so many years, golden finger. Come on. Lying on the bed in the bedroom, spinning back and forth. System. System. Ding. Why don't you ding? That's not right. They all jingle, how come it's gone with me? Is the system quota full? Simple drumming and pounding for half an hour, I didn't find it, I pondered to myself. Perhaps the system triggering conditions have not been met. Why don't I go out and explore places with a lot of people? Just say go and leave. Simply get up from the bed, put on short-sleeved shorts, grab his Nikon camera, and walk out of the house. Speak up. Name. Simple. Easy. You're not easy at all, kid. Tell yourself about gender, age, and occupation. Male, 22, currently unemployed after graduating from college. Unemployed vagrants, right. Which university graduated from? Lu-Das. Is preparing to submit a resume. Okay, there was a crime at my doorstep, right. Tell me how the crime was committed and what techniques were used. Police uncle, I didn't commit a crime, I didn't take photos. This is the police station, not your home. Don't give me a slick tune. Honestly explain. Why did you secretly take pictures of the girl's skirt bottom? I didn't shoot, I really didn't shoot, I was wronged. I just walked to the square and squatted. The police officer slammed the table and said, I didn't have a chance to take a photo. Don't argue. Your crime tool is already here. We have checked all the photos in the camera. Is there a serious photo? You are young and have a good appearance. If you have any ideas, just take it seriously and find a girlfriend. Don't go astray. No, Uncle Police, I'm a serious person. I just love photography. The photos in the camera were taken by me during my spare time in my senior year for cosplay. It's a serious job, and there aren't many photos in the camera that are not serious, right? Besides, I just walked to the square and squatted down to set up my camera, ready to take a selfie to commemorate my life on the second day of college graduation. As soon as I set up my camera, I was thrown to the ground by that woman. Knocking, a police officer pushed the door in. Captain, I have explained it clearly to that side. I know it was a misunderstanding and it has nothing to do with this child. Look, why don't you let that lady come over and apologize to this child? Okay, the police said as they untied the handcuffs on the simple hands. I have also explained it to you clearly. You can leave now. I will ask someone to apologize for you later. Our old man is more magnanimous and has not suffered any harm. Uncle, you know you're still criticizing me. How aggrieved I am. I'll just take a simple photo. I was just about to make an expression when I came over with a bang, and then a group of people held me down and surrounded me. I'm a great young man from my country, do you know how much emotional trauma I've suffered? Pop, shouldn't you be scrutinized? Look at what you're shooting, the more time you travel, the less clothes you wear. Don't scare you, I'll dare to shoot someone without clothes next time. Alright, don't fuss. I won't call your dad about today's matter. I have some points in my mind. Let's go, I'll take you out. Simply being taken to the mediation room by the police, I saw a woman sitting on a chair in the mediation room with her legs together and a black leather bag on her legs, looking slightly uneasy with her head down. All right. There's a misunderstanding, Miss Chen. This is simple, and we've explained it to you before. You have a good starting point, act bravely, come on. Let's shake hands and apologize to the young man. It's also considered getting to know each other. The woman slowly stood up and lifted her head, then walked up to Jian and reached out her hand. I'm really sorry. The angle you set up the camera at was too misleading. The girl was wearing a short skirt and her back was facing you. Anyway, I hit someone wrong. Please understand, I'm very sorry. Looking at the woman briefly, I was stunned for a moment. A woman looks in her 20s, with exquisite makeup, eyebrows like distant mountains, face like hibiscus, nose bridge graceful, bright eyes and white teeth, and an unknown color of lip gloss, making her lips look pink and tender. A slightly awkward smile shattered the cold and gorgeous filter on the woman's body, as if she had become much closer. The police reached out and patted the back of the woman, regaining her composure. They held the woman's outstretched hand together, allowing her to look towards the slippery touch that came from her hand. At the slightest touch, simply retract your hand. It's okay. Okay, as a gesture of apology, I'll treat you to a meal. The woman clasped her hands together and placed them on her chest, saying. He quickly waved his hand and said, no need, it's getting late too. I have something else to do, let's go back to our respective homes. Okay then. The woman took out her business card from her bag and handed it to Jane, saying, this is my business card. If you have any discomfort in the back, please contact me in a timely manner. I will take full responsibility, so I will leave first. The woman turned her head to look at the police. Okay, Ms. Chen, come and sign and you can leave. Okay, thank you. The woman signed, looked at Jian, nodded, and turned around to walk out of the police station. Looking at the woman's back, she exclaimed, you have a great figure. The police officer heard it and patted the back of his head, saying, it's time for dinner too. Are you here to have a meal or are you going home? I rubbed my head briefly and said, Uncle, I'd better go home. I feel a bit tired today. It's a wonderful day to take a nap and open my eyes when I go home. Okay, once you graduate, hurry up and find a job. Don't wander around the streets, hurry up and leave. I simply took the bus home and looked down at the business card in my hand. It only had the two big characters of Chen Fei printed on it and a string of phone numbers with 4 8s in the back, without any position or company address. After a brief thought, Quancheng said it was big or small, and he thought there would be no intersection in the future. However, seeing the white Porsche that the woman drove away from the police station, he felt that she was also a wealthy woman and should be respected. Put the business card properly in your bag. We will become a man who holds the resources of a wealthy woman from now on, and this beating won't be in vain. Unfortunately, the golden finger still hasn't appeared. Simply take out the key and open the door. Mom. I'm back. Chapter 2. So this is Monkey Dung. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Mom. I'm back. Mom. Mom. A middle-aged woman with short hair walked out of the kitchen and wiped her apron with both hands, saying, "Where are you calling your soul? Hey, hurry up and put on your shoes. I just mopped the floor." As soon as I stepped into the door, my feet paused and my whole body trembled. I quickly put my feet back, took off my shoes, lifted them up, and stepped on my foot pads. I put on my slippers and entered the room. As the middle-aged woman looked at me with her hips crossed, she said, "Mom. Where's my dad? You don't do anything serious every day, either you're looking for mom or dad. What are you doing? Hee. If it's okay, I'll ask. Hurry up and change your clothes, wash your hands and eat." Okay. At the dinner table, a family of 3 sat in rows, chatting while eating. "Stinky kid, why did you go today?" A middle-aged man, wearing dark blue cotton short-sleeved pajamas, holding mantou in his left hand, said as he sandwiched vegetables. "Today, I took a stroll around the square and ran into a wealthy woman. After a formal exchange on a formal occasion, the rich woman insisted on treating me to dinner. I saw that it was over. Another shallow woman, who had just met for a while, began to care about my body. Is that okay? But in order not to hurt this woman's self-esteem, after a gentle explanation, the woman suddenly realized and decided to go back to her own home and find her mother. Simply step on the chair with your left foot, shaking your head and head like a scoundrel. Pop a pair of chopsticks fiercely hit the back of the hand that was simply extended to pick up the vegetables. Put your feet down for me. Not at all human-like. Running on the train with your mouth full. Speak human language to me. Simply place the chopsticks on the edge of the plate, rub the back of your hand and mutter, although there is an artistic element, that's the truth. Chen Shumei, look at what you've been used to, there's not a single word spoken by anyone now. Jian Jie. What am I used to? It's not your breed, is it? I can't tell who's inherited it from. Seeing that the situation was wrong, Jane's father hurriedly put down the mantou and chopsticks in his hands, grabbed Jane's mother's hand and said, "Shumei, you're just talking and angry, eating and eating." Jian's mother shook her hand and said, "Neither of you guys is worry-free. Hee. Hey you head, you're making your mother angry, little bastard." Jian Jie reached out to Jian and let out a big neck. "Speak up. We've all graduated, and it's time to start dating. Your mother and I won't talk about you, so why are you covering up? That's right, it's not a big deal anymore. While your father and I are still young, hurry up and get married and have children, and we can also help you take care of the area. Tell me, where is today's little girl from? Did she contact you or was someone introduced to you? How old is she?" A simple scalp tightening, these two people, dating in middle school accused me of early love, dating in high school accused me of affecting my studies, and wanting to have a grandson after graduating from college, really unreasonable. After a brief silence, he spoke up. Um. 3 years older. Okay, how about a third-year girl holding a golden brick? If it's interesting, can we take a place first? Do you have any photos? Show them to me and your dad. It's pretty. But according to you, I have to hold many golden bricks. What do you mean? Isn't it 3 years older? Mom, what I'm saying is that I'm 3 years older than you. You little bastard. I killed you today. At a young age, I don't want to take the right path. I want to hug a rich woman, right? Do you also consider yourself a holy monk? Chen Xiumei pounced on Jian, slapping her head with loving palms on both sides. Simple hands hugging his head, he ran towards the living room sofa, but Jian hugged Chen Xiumei's waist and stopped him tightly. Simply run and say. To be a person, one must have ideals, and I am not inferior to Tang Monk, am I? Little bastard. I made you stubborn and didn't learn well. Xiumei. Xiumei. Oh my, the child is joking with you. Easy. Come back and sit down, talk well, and get angry with your mother again. I'll spank you. As soon as she turned around and saw that her father had controlled her, Sayako ran back to the bedroom and shouted. I'm full, I'll go back to my house and submit my resume first. Squeak click, the sound of closing the door rang, and Jian slowly sat down holding Chen Xiumei. Stinky kid, you're learning outside with a smooth tongue. The child has his own opinions as he grows older. I'm just joking with you, isn't he angry? If I were really angry, I would have made you two so angry. After you finish eating, tidy up the table and I'll go find Li Juan to play mahjong. Hey, good. Simply lie on the bedroom bed. The system couldn't find it, and neither could the golden finger. You can't lie at home every day, can you? We still need to find a class first, touch and talk. Then use your phone to open the National College Student Employment Service platform, click on Enterprise, set region, Shandong Province Quancheng, set industry, and start sliding and selecting. It took half an hour to pick and choose. Just ponder for a moment, That's all. Click. Send. The next morning. When I wake up in the morning and open the window, my mood is beautiful %*yuan #yuan dot, *gulu. Tue, simply spit out toothpaste foam, wipe your mouth, look in the mirror, shake your fingers, and point. You kid. You're still so handsome. Step out of the bathroom. Mom. Mom. Dad. No one answered. It seems that everyone has gone to work, so I turned around and walked into the kitchen, shaking my hips and lifting the lid of the pot. Shiny. I'm just trying to be blind. I had that prank last night, so I might still be able to make ends meet. Go downstairs to the breakfast shop across from the community, Uncle Lou. A cage of fresh meat buns, a bowl of soybean milk. Yo, when did you come back? I just came back a few days ago. Uncle, hurry up. I'm so hungry. Go inside and find a place to sit, come right away. Did you make your mother angry again? Didn't you leave any food? Hey, what you're saying, I don't want you to say that anymore. Go find a place quickly. The Erdeo Lu breakfast shop has a small storefront, but it is almost full now. Simple eyeballs looked around and found an empty seat opposite a lady. Sister, is there anyone in this place? She walked quickly to the woman's side and asked politely in a low voice, no. The woman looked up as she spoke, her eyes facing each other. So coincidental. Come and have breakfast. Looking at the woman, Chen Fei was wearing a white silk lace-up shirt today, with a gray long skirt covering her knees, revealing her tender and slender calves. Her feet, wearing rhinestone lace-up high heels and sandals, were thin and symmetrical, and with perfect arches, they were perfectly jade feet. Chen Fei lifted a strand of hair hanging from her face, gently pinned it behind her ear, and replied with a calm smile. Well, it's quite coincidental. Exactly, didn't you say you wanted to treat me to dinner yesterday? You can pay for my breakfast later. Okay. Simply sit down, take out disposable chopsticks from the greasy tea box, hold them in your hand, and then take out 2 napkins from the cardboard box to wipe the table in front of you. By the way, you're quite interesting. Do you want people to contact you these days without adding a VX to your business card? Upon hearing this, Consort Chen's eyelashes trembled. Without explanation, she looked up and smiled in response, asking. Do you want to add me with VX? Since you've said that, wouldn't it be impolite of me not to add it? Scan me, scan you. Chen Fei took out her phone from her black bag and said, let me scan you. Simply take out your phone from your pocket, make some noise, and place it in front of Consort Chen. After scanning, Chen Fei clicked on Add and set friend permissions. Chat only. Alright, what's your name? I didn't read it carefully on the letter of understanding yesterday. Just leave a note for me saying, the creditor after the act of bravery and righteousness. Chapter 3. Fortune Comes Around. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. To be serious, what exactly is it called? Just leave a note for me, there's nothing more suitable than this. Then I'll just casually make notes. Alright, it's up to you. Come on. Eat quickly. Uncle Lu held the steamed stuffed bun soybean milk in front of Simple. Okay uncle, this beautiful woman will help me settle my account later. Do you know each other? Uncle Lu looked at Consort Chen and said. Chen Fei lightly nodded and said, I'll pay later. Uncle. Hurry up and go. Okay, you guys talk. Simply walk towards the disinfection cabinet, take out the vinegar dish, and return to your seat. Rich lady, could you please pass me the vinegar? Upon hearing the simple address given to her, Chen Fei's smile couldn't help but widen. Turn around and pick up the vinegar bottle from the back table and hand it to Jian. Why do you call me that? Simply pour vinegar, pick up the buns, dip them in a vinegar plate, stuff them into your mouth, and chew them whole a few times. After the buns are in your stomach, say. Do you think I didn't look at what car you drove yesterday? And look at your urban beauty outfit today, a well-behaved wealthy lady. The notes I just gave you were all, Chen Fei, a wealthy woman who is passionate about righteous deeds, isn't it very appropriate? Simply pick up the phone on the table to unlock it and push it to Chen Fei's desk. Chen Fei lowered her head and looked at the time again. At 8:25, she quickly pushed her phone to Jian. Get up and put your bag on your back. I'm going to be late for work. Let's leave first. Let's talk when we have time. Okay, see you later. Simple looked up and waved his hand. Don't forget to check out. Chen Fei walked to the door, scanned the QR code on the wall, and turned to ask Uncle Lu. Boss, how much does it cost for both of us in total? Uncle Lu looked up and then lowered his head to pack for the guest. You two have a total of 26 yuan. Don't give it any more, let's talk about it next time. I paid it over, boss. The sound of money falling to the ground. 26 yuan from Alipay. Alright, take your time. After a simple and leisurely breakfast, he greeted Uncle Lu and returned home, lying on the sofa, ready to witness the daily life of the little rich woman. Click on the avatar to open your social circle. Damn it. What is the most basic trust between people? Even gentlemen should guard against it. Is it still possible for me to close my social circle now? Damn it. This is not pure self-disclosure behavior. I guess we've already seen all of them by now. On the other side, the 16th floor of Quancheng Jingu office building is located in the general manager's office of Jinxiu Marketing Company. Chen Fei lazily leaned against the light brown leather boss's chair, her legs as tender as sheep fat overlapping, and her jade-like toes hooked onto a leather slipper swaying up and down. The tip of the ear was slightly red. Xiaosa embryo, I knew I didn't mistreat him that day. Xiaoyun was indeed right. The good-looking little brother played with flowers in private. Knocking, come in. Chen Fei pressed the lock screen button and flipped her phone upside down on her desk. A girl in her 20s wearing a pure white dress, flat shoes, and a beautiful face walked up to Chen Fei's desk and asked, Mr. Chen. The Tianbu Feifei brand has rejected our marketing proposal for the third time. Do you think so? Where else is the problem? Didn't we already communicate last time? We have fully adjusted according to the other party's requirements. Still not satisfied with the product promotion pictures and copy we provided. Is there a clear direction for the problem? I have communicated with you, but Sun Gu did not understand the effect concept proposed by the other party. Go and call Sun Bo over. Until noon, Ms. Shumei called. Your father and I went to a colleague's child's wedding banquet at noon, but we're not coming back. There's food in the fridge, so let's cook it ourselves and eat it. Hang up the phone. Simply open the racing delivery and order a yellow braised chicken. After eating it, use extremely ingenious techniques to eliminate any traces. Then he returned to the sofa and lay down bored, using his phone to open Langyin and watch short videos. Every time my fingers slide, a passionate little sister appears swaying gracefully on the screen. This jumping needle doesn't poke, double-click to save it. Next. Black silk. I like black silk. Let's go, Erlian. Slide up. Yo. Uniforms. Two companies. Slide up. Yuzu _ this is good. Follow decisively. 15 minutes later, my eyes lit up from a simple glance. Who studied this little thing? Big data is not deceiving me. 100,000 yuan won 220 million yuan. Immortal figures. Hey, something's not right. There's a lot of something that's not right. Why did I suddenly get this? Is it possible that the heavens are hinting at me? The cost of buying a lottery ticket is only a few yuan, let's try our best to turn a bicycle into a motorcycle. Rebirth has happened to me, what else is impossible? As a clear college graduate, it's important to believe in fate. Dare to think and act. Since that's the case, that's all for today's short video. It's impolite to delay any further. Today is still Thursday. Hurry up, hurry up. Otherwise, we won't make it. Quickly get up, run back to the bedroom, take out a piece of paper, tear it into 30.3 small pieces, write the numbers 1.16 first, stack them, shake them with both hands together, and sprinkle them on the table. Pick one from inside, open it, and record the number on your phone's memo. Write the numbers 17.33 again, stack them up, and repeat the previous steps. After a brief glance at the phone, double-checking, then picking up the short-sleeved sleeve from the bed, finding the duckbill cap, putting on sunglasses, fully armed, and locking the door. Walk to the shade of the trees in the community, choose a car, and drive all the way. Boss, give me a few lottery tickets. The boss, who was lying on the glass counter, pursing his buttocks and chasing after the drama, withdrew his buttocks and walked towards the machine. Tell me the number, would you like to add it? 0, 2, 10, 19. Single bet 10 times. 10, 25. Single bet 10 times. 0, 3, 0, 7, 32. Single bet 10 times. Looking at the phone briefly, he quickly said a few strings of numbers and then asked. Boss, how much bonus is there for this period? The boss looked at the computer while printing lottery tickets and opened his mouth, saying. There are over 2 billion yuan in the prize pool. Wishing you a win. May I borrow your auspicious words? How much is it? 60 yuan, just scan the code. After simply paying the money, taking the lottery ticket, putting it away, and looking at the countdown of today's lottery on my phone, I walked out of the door with vivid imagination. Get on the yellow bike and return home. Clip the lottery ticket into the book, lock it in the bedroom drawer, take a simple long breath, and lean against the bedside. Anyway, it's only 60 yuan. If you win, you'll be the night stage model. No. Then go into the factory to work. No, if you really win, you still have to work. Just lie flat in the company and enjoy fishing. I don't have a business acumen, why not work? Continuing to work as a private photographer. There's no pattern left. If you just come out of a film studio and have a bunch of talented people in the group, can you still not find a job? Anyway, whether it's Mr. Jian or Mr. Jian in the future depends on tonight's success or failure. The sound of opening the door sounds. Where are you? Where have you been? Go downstairs and help your dad pick up the things. Chapter 4. Hello, General Manager Jian. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. At 9 o'clock in the evening, after having dinner, I sat on the sofa, nibbling on the cantaloupe I brought downstairs, and happily accompanied old Jian and Shumei to watch the current hot drama, Crazy Criticism of Generals Love Girls. The sound system on the phone placed at the tea table started, and after a brief glance, I quickly picked up my phone and stood up. Well, it's getting late. I'll go back to my room first and see if there's a reply to the submitted resume. You guys take your time. Old Jian waved his hand to signal to quickly get out. Simply lock the door, take out the lottery ticket, smash your body onto the bed and lie down. Open the lottery drawing net, keep your eyes hooked and your fingers sliding continuously. Refresh. Refresh. The simple heartbeat suddenly accelerates, the face turns red and the ears are hot, and the breathing seems to have stopped for a moment. Sleeping slot. Sleeping slot. Ah. Ms. Shumei walked to the simple door and slammed it. Simple. Simple. What's wrong with you again? You don't know what time it is. What the hell is that? As the body stiffened, it seemed as if one could hear their heart beating in their ears. That. Scored a goal. It's not like you kicked it. What's the ghost shouting? Go to bed now. The sound of footsteps outside the door walked away, leaning slowly against the bedside. His dull expression remained unchanged, and the huge surprise made him breathe quickly. As time passed, simplicity slowly calmed down, and the fatigue that followed surged in my heart, as if I was about to fall asleep like this. But subconsciously reminded him to sit up and put the lottery ticket back in the book under his pillow. Pull over the corner of the quilt, put it on your stomach, and close your eyes to ponder. At this moment, he had a sense of tearing apart the world. He used to buy lottery tickets just for fun, but who could have imagined that he really won? Is this the divine will that exists in the underworld? No system, no ring, no grandma, just changed to giving money. So rough. Simply pick up your phone and look at the prize pool amount on the lottery interface. Many people are unaware that the first and second prizes of the double color ball are floating prizes, while the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth prizes are fixed prizes. This means that after each draw, the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth prizes must be calculated first. After the statistics of the third, fourth, fifth, and sixth prizes are completed, the specific redemption amount for each bet of the first and second prizes will be determined based on the remaining amount in the prize pool. For each bet of 10 million yuan in the first prize of this double color ball, 10 times is 100 million yuan. If you pay 20% tax, you will receive 80 million yuan. The process of cashing out the dual color ball lottery involves approximately 2 to 3 days, from inspecting the lottery to completing other related procedures, and then waiting for the funds to be credited. After calculating how much money he had received, he began to plan this large sum of money in a simple and confused manner. After cashing in the prize and receiving the check, go to the 4 major banks for a round of talks, leaving 10 million yuan of working capital. The remaining 70 million yuan will be divided into 2 installments, and whoever gives a high deposit interest rate will have it with them. Investment is not acceptable. We need to have a clear understanding of the amount of money we carry, and the more we waste it, the less we can squander it. Winning a prize once in 2 lifetimes would be great, so we can safely earn some interest. Let's talk about those that can pay monthly interest. Although there have been some cases of money being deposited in banks disappearing, under normal circumstances, the 4 major banks are still very reliable. I know about winning the prize myself, but I have to pave the way for future big expenses. You can call on that group of old perverts and open a film studio. We have been working together for several years, and we know the root and bottom of it. If we do well in this area, the annual profit of 300,000 to 400,000 yuan is not a problem. Coincidentally, I have also accumulated over 130,000 points in my hands in recent years. After discussing with Lao Jian and the others, it shouldn't be a problem. Hee, you've become Mr. Jian. I woke up before 7 o'clock and lay in bed without making any sound. I stayed up until 8 o'clock when the door closed. Quickly get up and go to the bathroom to wash up, dress neatly, put on your hat, mask, and sunglasses, then take out the lottery ticket and put it close to you. Unable to even wait for breakfast, he took a deep breath, touched the lottery again, and walked out of the house. Once again, ride your beloved yellow bike and head towards the Xingfu Lottery Distribution Center. After the money is in my pocket, I'll pick up a car and drive it. In my past life, I picked up my own Passat and drove it well, but it's not very eye-catching. It's understandable to old Jian and the others. I have been daydreaming all the way. Lock the car, he checked again and confirmed that the lottery was still there. Looking towards the recently opened lottery center, his legs involuntarily began to tremble, pinching his thighs and walking inside. The first floor prize redemption hall. After carefully reading the necessary procedures for redeeming the prize, I picked up my pen and filled in the amount on the form with my right hand trembling. The font is crooked and reads 100 million yuan. Simply and calmly walked to the window and handed the form, ID card, and bank card to the staff, copied them on A4 paper, and wrote his name and ID card number on the back of the lottery ticket, which was solemnly handed to the staff. The staff member looked at the handsome man in front of her who had just passed the verification and took off his hat and mask, smiled slightly, and began the lottery verification process. The machine verification passed, and the elder sister handed the lottery receipt to the fully armed simple. You can sign now. Thank you, sister. A simple voice trembled, looking at the receipt, repeatedly confirming the amount, accurately and awkwardly signing one's own name. The elder sister then handed herself the customer copy of the receipt and asked with a smile. Would you be willing to accept an interview? No need, sister. Big sister reached out and pointed to the small window next to her. Go there and pay taxes. Simply turn around and leave. The winning amount is 100.000.000.00 yuan. After deducting 20% of personal income tax, the after-tax amount is 80.000.00.00 yuan. Here, take this back and put it away, don't lose it. After the uncle at the tax window finished speaking, he handed over a simple tax payment receipt. Go to the bank window over there to get the check. Hey, good. Simply grab the prize receipt, check, and tax receipt, and turn around and walk out of the lottery center. Step out of the gate, look left and right, see if anyone is paying attention, get on your bike, and head towards the nearest neighborhood. Because the designated bank for redeeming the prize check is too far away from the lottery center, it must be taken by taxi. But taking a taxi at the lottery center carries some high risks. When you reach the nearest community, stop the car and walk in the opposite direction around the community to the South Gate bus stop. Blocking, Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, Provincial Branch. Silent all the way, after getting on the car, one hand pressed on the zippered pocket and the other hand slid the phone. After arriving at the destination, simply pay to get off the car, walk into the bank, get the number at the self-service number machine, sit on the chair at the corner of the hall, and wait quietly. Call the number and walk towards the service window, whispering, "Redeem check." The bank lady turned her head and took a deep look at the simple picture, then turned her head back and stared at the computer screen, starting to operate. Chapter 5. Says to do. Just do the film studio. You are listening at Novel Full.Audio. Under the guidance of the staff of Industrial and Commercial Bank of China, the young lady quickly placed 80 million yuan in a simple bank card. Just as he was about to get up and leave, he was stopped by the manager who had been notified by the young lady. I was simply invited into the VIP room, and under the guidance of professional lawyers and financial advisors hired by Manager Ma, I explained the terms and contracts one by one. With the guarantee of audio and video recording throughout the entire process, I successfully obtained a 3-year deposit certificate with a fixed amount of 40 million yuan and transaction information in the mobile banking app. Annualized at over 3%, with an annual interest rate of 1.54 million. And after 1 year of deposit, starting from the second year, you will receive a monthly interest of 128,000 yuan, which will be deposited into the current account and can be consumed at any time. After learning about the idea of not wanting to put eggs in one basket, Manager Ma decisively helped to contact Manager Zhou, who is also the manager of Bank of Communications, and personally sent a car to deliver simple to the VIP room of Bank of Communications. After repeating the above steps and procedures, received another 3-year certificate of deposit and mobile banking transaction information with a fixed deposit amount of 30 million yuan. Annualized at 4.18%, with an annual interest of 1.25 million. And after 1 year of deposit, starting from the second year, you will receive a monthly interest of 100,000 yuan, which will be deposited into the current account and can be consumed at any time. After the lunch hosted by the two managers and everyone, I simply got into the customer car of the Bank of Communications and returned home. How can these people really chat? Fortunately, I have a strong willpower and upheld my true intention. Otherwise, one investment would have been made here and the other, and this money would have been lost without me even seeing a trace. Take a good rest and pick up the car tomorrow. Yes. Hello. Please inquire and see if you are willing to take action. When it comes to pricing, I'll talk to him myself. If this one doesn't work, I'll inquire about more. For those with larger storefronts, Dad, I'll take you ashore directly. That must be done. All the 5 insurances and 1 fund will be arranged, and we will directly transform into a regular army to receive weddings, children, photos. As long as it is something we can do. Tell me in advance about my personal tasks, coordinate the time and pick them up as needed. Then, divide the categories and arrange 2 rooms for them. Let them pay for the venue fee. It's definitely much better than you sneaking around a small hotel, isn't it? Okay, I'll let you know from the group later. If you're willing, come along. It's better for us to work together than running solo jobs from different places. Okay, that's it for now. Simply hang up the phone. Lying on his bed with his head in his hands, he really wanted to open a film studio. In his past life, he joined an advertising company because of photography, but in the end, he didn't get into photography. After being a social animal for so many years, he still feels comfortable playing photography with these brothers. The person I just called was Quancheng, a big brother from a photographer group I met in the second half of my year. He is a very good person. When the new members in the group were not active at the beginning, he helped introduce them. It's simple that he brought them out. Usually, I pick up models for photo shoots, cartoons and portraits, as well as print advertising in the cities around Quancheng. Sometimes, when a wedding company is short of dual camera cameras, he can also help me with it. It has a good reputation, and I have a group of little brothers and sisters who follow me to mix some soup. Let him inquire about the newly opened cinema in the past 2 years, take it down, supplement the machines, and renovate it. With the customers in the hands of big brother Quancheng and his brothers and sisters, it can last 4 or 5 years. Not to mention being able to recoup, as long as the income is sufficient to pay off the salary. Take more photos and achieve better results, and provide a minimum guarantee if there is no work. Moreover, Quancheng has had a successful experience in opening a store, but he bought equipment whenever he had a little money and sold it whenever he had a little money. In the end, he was unable to make ends meet and announced his dissolution. When the time comes, give Quancheng a small share, then buy high-tech equipment bit by bit, and then move out of the past few years of life friendship to completely trap him. Jiang Shan is stable and holds great power, and even simple money can lead a clear path under the cinema without worrying about being missed by anyone. In the evening, at the table of Jian's family. As long as you don't regret it and do something serious, your mother and I will definitely support you. With Xiao Ku here, I can rest assured. Since you said we don't have to worry about the money for opening a photography studio, then that's it. Your mother and I had already discussed buying you a car to drive after you go to work. Within 200,000 yuan, you can go back to your house and choose for yourself. Tomorrow, your mother and I will take you to see the car. I was originally planning to bring up this matter with you in a couple of days, but since my wise parents have brought it up, it's better for me to be respectful and obedient to my son. Stinky kid. On Saturday afternoon at 5 o'clock, a brand new 2022 380 TSI luxury black Volkswagen Passat slowly drove out of the Volkswagen Fourth Sun store. All vehicle license plate insurance has been properly purchased. Comrade Lao Jian drove his old Toyota at the front, with Miss Shumei following behind in a simple car. To celebrate the addition of another big item at home, I simply waved my hand and went out to the restaurant. A steady side parking, the whole family enters the restaurant, orders the dishes, and so on. Son, why did you get started with this new car so quickly? Did you drive a classmate's car in college? No way. Didn't you take a closer look when picking up the car last night? It doesn't have any complicated functions either. Can you get started quickly? I've been driving this car for many years in my past life, and I can find the car buttons anywhere with my eyes closed. It's much more familiar than touching someone else's girlfriend. You can't just race with others when you have a car. Pay attention to traffic regulations and don't drive so fast. We'd rather wait for 3 minutes than take a second. I know. I'm driving quite steadily. Isn't it, Dad? It's okay to drive, but it's better to be steady in everything than anything else. After finishing their meal and returning home, the second old man continued to watch their TV drama and briefly returned to the bedroom, starting to reply to the private messages sent by the friends in the photography group one by one. One night passed. At 7 o'clock in the morning, a ringing phone woke up Simple. Simple squinted his eyes, unplugged his phone's charging cable with one hand, and answered. What's wrong, Lao Ku? I inquired about 2 properties yesterday, and both of them are interested in transferring. One has 2 floors and less than 300 square meters, and does not sell machinery and equipment, but still has 1 year's rent. The other is located in the city, on the square side, with a 3-story, over 600 square meters, single-story shop that can be rented or purchased. All equipment are packaged at a low price, not sold alone. I have only worked for 2 years and hardly need decoration. They are all ready-made. The first one still talks about chicken feathers on this condition. I just want a ready-made one, but why is this second one a bit familiar to you? It's not from Little Beard, right? It's really him. As someone nearby said, Little Beard has come up with a grandfather who has an inheritance in the United States and is in a hurry to change hands and prepare to go abroad. Damn it, this kind of slut can still have this fate. You can make an appointment with Little Beard for me and see if we can lower the price. Okay, I'll let you know once I've made an appointment. Okay, let's have a drink after we finish. No, I'm afraid not. After hanging up the phone, I got out of bed and walked into the bathroom. After washing up, I looked into the empty home. Alright, the couple couldn't figure out where to hang out again this morning, and there's no food in the kitchen. Let's go out and eat. A familiar two-knife flow breakfast shop. Uncle, 2 deep fried dough sticks, a bowl of congee, and a dish of sour beans. Let's sit inside and wait for a while, let's blow it up first. Okay. Chen Fei sat in a position facing the door this time, and as she walked towards the breakfast shop, she saw him. After listening to him finish speaking to the boss, she waved her hand and greeted him. This way. Chapter 6. Third Encounter. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This way. Looking at her briefly, she suddenly had a laugh and walked across from Chen Fei to sit down. No, why do you come to this steamed bun shop and deep fried dough sticks shop every day? Why can't I eat here? Chen Fei gave him a small nod and tilted her head, saying. Quickly wave your hand. It's not impossible, I just feel like wealthy women like you always come to the office to have a cup of coffee or a sandwich of milk in the morning, and stomp on high heels to eat. You're a bit down to earth. This is your stereotype of us professional women, you. Seeing the situation simply, I quickly put my hands together and swung them back and forth on my chest, interrupting the conversation. Wrong, wrong. Sister, you've almost regained your divine power. I can't resist your 20-year skill in this punch. Chen Feixing's eyes were slightly angry, and she quickly rolled her white eyes, bowing her head and not replying. Simply put, he took the opportunity to secretly examine the delicate face of Fu Fenshizhu, who was now covered in red lead. Upon closer examination, he discovered a faint black mark under the apricot eyes and clear kernels. He spoke curiously. How did you become a giant panda? You've been staying up late these past few days. What giant panda? Simple fingers circling around the eyes as a gesture. Didn't it cover up? Chen Fei lowered her head and dug out a small mirror from her bag. It's not very obvious either. So why are you looking so carefully? Simple Bear spreads hands. Chen Fei saw him taking the initiative to talk to her again and remembered about the company, so she immediately asked. By the way, do you know anything about post-production photography? You understand me a bit, how do you ask me this? I work in marketing and promotion. A while ago, the company received an order for us to comprehensively design and plan the product promotion work. However, we are now stuck in the first step. After submitting and communicating with Party A many times, we have not seen any results. What is the first step? Simple Thief Hook 8 speechless. Damn it, I did this in my past life, and when I was reborn, it still allowed me to come into contact with these things. No, I have to distance myself from this thing. I don't understand, I don't know. Product photography renderings and product promotion articles. Then you can just follow their first party's requirements, won't you? Simply put it bluntly. What you said is quite simple. The key is that the requirements put forward by Party A are all vague concepts and have no practical significance. There are a total of 6 teams, and the rest are busy with their own work, so they don't care about this. And I just happened to run into you. I just wanted to hear your professional photographer for any good advice. What's my major? If you ask me to take a photo and do a post-production, it's not a problem, but I really don't understand this aspect. Upon hearing this, Consort Chen's face remained unchanged as she waved her hand and explained to herself. It's okay, I just casually asked. The person who led the team to do this project has relatively little work experience, so it's quite challenging to work. I'll figure out a solution myself and see if I can draw a few people from other teams to assist. Upon hearing her description of the situation, I suddenly remembered Quancheng and his words changed. Although I don't quite understand this, I have a friend who has worked in this field many times, but I don't guarantee it for you. If you are willing, I can take him to your company to try to communicate with your first party. If it works, you can just pay him a salary. If it doesn't work, you can think of a solution on your own. If it really helps, maybe there can be multiple businesses on the other side of the film studio. Although you want to stay away from the advertising industry, you still have to earn money. Don't struggle with money. Concubine Chen swallowed a mouthful of soybean milk, looked at the simplicity, smelled the bright smile of flowers on her face, quickly rippled on her face, and then collected it again, saying with a trace of uncertainty. Really? Don't lie to me about this. Of course it's true, can you judge for yourself whether it's okay or not? Okay, no problem. If you really have any good ideas to offer, the reward will definitely not be less after the task is completed. He waved his hand. You can talk to him in person about this when the time comes, but let's talk about it first. You can't be tempted to poach me. Chen Fei's expression was bewildered for a moment. I remember you just graduated from college, right? Does that mean your friend is actually your employee? Not yet, let's not talk about this. By the way, are you in a hurry about this matter? If you're not in a hurry, I'll ask you when I'm done. Why aren't you in a hurry? You must be in a hurry. Can you help me ask later? If it's possible today, that would be great. Please. She leaned forward slightly, put her hands together at the tip of her nose, and blinked her big eyes as she said. He stirred his spirits and rubbed his arms back and forth. Hey, speak up well, don't get caught up, you've shattered my filter for you. After listening to him finish speaking, Chen Fei's expression became somewhat incorrect, and she continued to speak. Then I'll help you ask and see if you have anything to do this afternoon. If not, I'll come to your company to find you. Okay, thank you. Seeing her face change again, like a face-changing doll, with a threatening smile in her eyes, she asked softly. By the way, do you, the female CEO, usually talk to employees like this? Why does it have a bit of a tea-like atmosphere? After speaking, he simply took out his phone and lowered his head to start typing. Upon hearing this, Consort Chen's face changed again, with a look of anger and embarrassment. Her left hand, which was placed under the table, clenched tightly and gritted her teeth. This stinky little brother, my great female CEO. Who said I'm T? Humph. With a simple and sudden look up, Chen Fei's whole body relaxed instantly, and the corners of her mouth quickly curled up, making a professional fake smile. Her long eyelashes blinked and blinked at him, and she asked in a gentle tone. Have I replied to you yet? Not yet, but I've made it clear to him. By the way, you can send me the company's location, and when I have time, I'll take him over to find you. Oh, good, how about I pick you up then? No need, we can go by ourselves. Humph. You think I want to pick you up? Chen Fei quickly rolled her eyes out of his sight and then said to him. Then we can contact you through WeChat. Make a simple gesture of okay. Then I'll go to the company first. You can keep waiting for dinner. After finishing speaking, Chen Fei took the small bag and stood up to show him an inexplicable smile. Then, her fair 4 fingers gently shook her face, signaling goodbye. Tell me T. Humph. When you arrive at the company, sister will show you what the true queen aura is. After thinking to himself, he twisted his slender waist and flicked his hair behind his neck with his right hand. He walked to the door, scanned the QR code to make the payment, sat in the car, and walked away. Uncle Lou's voice of putting down deep-fried dough sticks and porridge made Simple slowly take back his eyes. Did you make people angry, kid? No. Why didn't their daughter say she ended up with your share this time? Simply shake your head and laugh without explanation. If you make someone angry, quickly coax them, otherwise you won't get a wife. Hey uncle, hurry up and get busy. The guests are still waiting. Uncle Lou left with a tisk-tisk sound. Tang Gu, you are also serious. Business has been difficult to do these days, and besides, you are about to go abroad and live a free and unrestrained life. Just pretend that my younger brother is also getting along with Tang Gu and sell it to my younger brother at a cheaper price. I bought this 653 square meter independent shop for 12,000 yuan per square meter through a simple compliment. On the spot, the lawyer hired by both parties drafted a contract in triplicate, signed by both parties, and agreed to go to handle the notarization and transfer procedures before Monday tomorrow. Stepping out of the tea room and following the lawyer back to the law firm, I drafted a lease agreement and signed it with myself at a price of 1.2 cents per square meter. Eat to the fullest in a fast food restaurant. Is this mustache really generous? It costs 2 yuan per square meter. Simply pulling the fried noodles in his mouth, he said vaguely. That's not it. I've been teasing him so much that my lips are almost worn out. Let's rent it for a year first. To prevent him from regretting the price increase later, I even asked the lawyer to add a clause that after fulfilling the 1-year contract, the price cannot be increased arbitrarily, and I have a priority lease for the next 5 years. I didn't want to tell Quancheng that he bought this house because winning the lottery is not like anything else. The money is just like being blown by a strong wind. If it were to be spread, life would become very troublesome. The most annoying thing about simplicity is trouble. That's good, that's good. The customers now have ready.made equipment, so we need to change the brand and put it on. Based on our existing work, we will organize a small activity to get back to our original cost. Lao Ku, you can arrange these things according to your own plan. I don't have any business experience either. Just don't play around and pay for it. By the way, Lao Ku, if the operating expenses are not enough, you can cover them first. This is not a big deal. I have signed 10% of the dividend contract, and the rest of the money will be treated as my investment. We need to do a good job this time. You didn't know to discuss with me before you started, so you took the new car that Uncle Jian just bought for you to apply for a mortgage. Let's first earn money to protect the car, and then we'll talk about it later. I just told Uncle Jian yesterday that it was good, otherwise Uncle Jian would have killed me. Mortgage loans are also fake, otherwise where the money comes from cannot be explained. As the saying goes, if wealth is exposed, there will be disasters. Of course, including my parents, I can't say anything about it. As long as I save the money that can make the second half of my life worry-free, the rest is only known by heaven. Hee alright, look at it. You have experience, listen to you. By the way, didn't you say you wanted to take on a job for me? It's already past 2 o'clock. When will you go to the company you mentioned? I'll send a message to ask. Chapter 7. Blushing what? You are listening at novelfull.audio. Didi, Chen Fei's mobile phone message reminder rings. Chen Fei checks her phone. Unknown boy, I'm sending you a message. Click on. Send me the company's positioning, my friend, and I will go over now. Chen Fei held her phone in both hands, her thumb moving rapidly on it, and replied. Location information of Jinsho Marketing. Okay, do you need me to pick you up? No need, I'll drive over, about 10 minutes to arrive. Can you arrange someone to come down and pick us up? It seems like we can't enter this office building without swiping our card. Okay, let my assistant wait for you later. Pay attention to safety while driving. Okay. Chen Fei lay on the office sofa, a thin warm yellow blanket covering her slender white legs, her feet stepping up and down, thinking to herself. He's quite reliable in handling things. I thought I was going to stand up today. Simply park the car in the public parking space in front of the office building. Get off the car, simple ahead, followed by Quancheng, and enter the office hall. A young woman, dressed in uniform, wearing white short-heeled loafers, with a high ponytail on her head and a work badge in her hand. Seeing two people coming in, they quickly walked over with a smile on their faces as they put their work cards on the card-swiping machine. Hello. Are you Mr. Jian? With a simple smile, he extended his right hand and said. Hello. The young woman reached out and lightly touched with a simple half palm, then withdrew. I am Mr. Chen's assistant, Lu Dan. Welcome both, please come inside. Lu Dan reached out to the side and guided the two people in by sticking the work card onto the card reader. Take the elevator and in the blink of an eye, you'll be on the 16th floor. Taking Quancheng out of the elevator, Lu Dan quickly stepped forward and pushed open the glass door of the company. Please come inside. The sound of typing on the keyboard and making phone calls is in my ears. The 30 to 40 workstations were packed, and everyone seemed unusually busy. Simple on everyone's faces, looking around from behind. Is this company so busy? How much salary does Consort Chen have to offer them? Are you risking your life like this? Standing at the entrance of the company, Lu Dan interrupted me as I was Lenovo. Mr. Jian, Mr. Chen's office is over here, please follow me. After regaining his senses, he followed Lu Dan towards the innermost office. Knocking, please come in. A serious imperial sister's voice came. Upon hearing this familiar but unfamiliar voice, I muttered to myself. How many different voices does she have? Not only does she change her face, but she also changes her voice. Or is it that she always behaves like this in the company? Is it difficult to refute what I said she was caught up in this morning with practical actions? It seems like I did get angry with her this morning and even secretly clenched my fists, when I didn't see her. But if someone really came over who didn't know her, hearing this voice might make you think she was a domineering female CEO. Sure enough, women are all transformed by eels. Simply enter the office and smell a faint fragrance in the air. I saw Consort Chen sitting upright on the boss's chair, with her arms resting on the edge of the table and her right hand constantly sliding over the mouse. She stared seriously at the computer in front of her, as if dealing with some national affairs. Lu Dan saw that the boss had not spoken for a long time, so he reminded him. Mr. Chen. Mr. Jian and Mr. Ku have arrived. Upon hearing this, Consort Chen seemed to have just discovered the three of them, with a professional smile on her face, walking towards the simple couple. I'm really sorry, when did it arrive? Why didn't you say so? Simple and speechless. This girl's brain is so full of energy, isn't it? When did she arrive? You gave me a glance in your spare light when I didn't see the three of us come in. Besides, according to my message, it may not have been more than 20 minutes until now. You can just play chicken feathers with me. This is too revenge. Stupid. Stupid. Scared by my cold demeanor as the female CEO. In the morning, if you say, I'm sandwiched, once I pick it up, I'm even afraid of myself. A stinky little brother who doesn't even know how to handle it every minute. Mr. Chen, I just arrived. Let me introduce you to my friend Quancheng. You can try to have him communicate with the first party you mentioned. We'll talk about this later, sit down for now. Consort Chen secretly rejoiced. I was truly shocked by my aura. Mr. Chen Fei deliberately didn't look at him, but smiled at Quancheng and said. What would Teacher Ku like to drink? Water or coffee? Just give me a bottle of water, thank you. Lu Dan, bring me a cup of coffee and a bottle of soda water for Teacher Ku. Chen Fei turned her head and instructed Lu Dan. Seeing that the boss had left something simple behind again, could you please remind him to make up for it and ask? Okay. So what does Mr. Jian need? Upon hearing these words, Consort Chen immediately put on a fleeting and exaggerated expression, looking at simplicity and lightly tapping her forehead with her fingers. You see how busy I am, I've forgotten about you. So, why don't you give him a bottle of soda water? Okay, Lu Dan was ordered to leave. At this moment, concubine Chen and Quancheng began to talk, simply leaning on the sofa, their eyes secretly glancing at concubine Chen's side face. Seeing the corners of her mouth that couldn't help but curl up, they thought to themselves. I'll just watch you pretend. Not long, Lu Dan walked to the office door with a small tray. Mr. Chen. Chen Fei didn't look back and reached out to pat her simple knee. Go, open the door. He was then taken aback, glanced at her, got up and opened the door, picked up the tray from Lu Dan's hand, and placed the coffee on the table in front of Chen Fei. Mr. Chen, drink coffee. Then he threw the water at Lao Ku and said, Lao Ku, drink water. Consort Chen remained steadfast in her gaze. Well, let's put it there. After speaking, there was a strong smile in my eyes. After chatting for a while, Chen Fei bent down to pick up the coffee in front of her, crossed her legs, and took a sip. Come on, Lu Dan, take Teacher Ku to find Sun Bo. Teacher Ku, this way, please. Ku Chang stood up and followed. Dangling the sound of the door closing rang, and Chen Fei still pretended to be sipping her coffee without taking the initiative to speak. All right, Mississippi. It's all our own people. Stop pretending, I feel a headache from you pretending. Even the simple and powerful man crossed his legs, rested his right hand on the backrest of the sofa, tilted his head, and gently stroked his eyebrows with his left hand. As soon as someone exposed the truth, Chen Fei's body stiffened. She quickly turned her head to one side and saw her small and delicate ears quickly turn red. She spoke without hesitation. Who? Who's pretending? Don't get too close, who is your own person? No, Mississippi. You started demolishing the bridge before you even crossed the river. And can't you speak well? What's the point of pretending? Don't talk nonsense. When did I not speak properly? I didn't pretend. I was just like that. With a smile in his eyes, he continued to look at the beautiful woman whose blush had spread from behind his ears to his cheeks. Okay. No decoration. Then turn your head back, what's nice about the ceiling? Chen Fei turned her head fiercely and met her simple gaze. She saw a hint of mockery in his clear eyes, and then gave him a fierce glare, shouting in embarrassment and anger. There's a mosquito there. From the autumn water in his eyes, he saw a plethora of shyness and anger. His gaze receded, and the blush caused by shyness and anger gently imprinted on his face, like a petal of water and enchanting charm. The young man's heart suddenly skipped a beat, with a hint of palpitations surging up. He anxiously shifted his gaze away and moved to the spot where the charming woman in front of him had once looked, and spoke softly. Where are mosquitoes? Why didn't I see them? You say it again. Chapter 8. Revitalization. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Fei suddenly felt a strange atmosphere and quickly averted her gaze, looking down at the coffee in her hand. The sudden silence made Chen Fei feel uneasy all over. You speak first. You speak first. The inexplicable tacit understanding between the two made the atmosphere that had just dissipated strong again. Ladies first, what do you want to say? You can say it first. I forgot, you say it first. Gently rubbing the slightly hot earlobe with the thumb and index finger, she spoke unnaturally. So, what year are you from? Humph, you're on a blind date. What year is it? You didn't even tell me your name, why should I tell you which year I was in? A simple and awkward smile. Then I'll tell you your name, and you'll tell me how old you are, okay? Upon hearing this, Consort Chen's eyelashes trembled slightly and her nose wrinkled. You go ahead and I'll consider it. Let's get to know each other formally, simple. He sat up straight and extended his right hand. Chen Fei looked at the large hand that reached out to her, slender and fair, with slightly red fingertips. Then gently pat the large hand with distinct joints to one side. You're really blind to this name, it's so simple. I see there's not a single simple thing on your whole body. Upon hearing these words, I instinctively added. You haven't seen anything really simple either. After speaking, he suddenly regained his composure and covered his mouth with the hand that had just been slapped. What do you mean by that? It's okay, it's okay. Chen Fei didn't react, and the knocking on the door interrupted her thinking. Enter. Lu Dan walked in with Quancheng. Mr. Chen, there is some impatience from the brand side. They said they couldn't explain clearly on the phone and wanted to come to the company for face-to-face communication. They are already on their way. Chen Fei considered for a moment. Okay, it's a good thing to come over and have a good communication while both groups of 2 and 5 are present. We must do a good job in reception work. The original planning plan did not satisfy the other party, so the service aspect cannot be neglected. Sitting on the sofa, leaning forward, arms resting on legs, fingers crossed, looking at Chen Fei, who was giving a hospitality task to her assistant. This is the aura of a serious female CEO. After receiving the assigned task, Lu Dan quickly walked out of the office, while Chen Fei picked up her coffee and took a big sip. Upon seeing the situation briefly, he said. So we are. Chen Fei said slowly. Let's come together and help analyze the other party's requirements to see if there are any good solutions. Don't worry, we won't let you help in vain. I simply scratched my head. That's not the point. Forget it, what kind of identity arrangement are we? You can sit next to me and have teacher Ko sit next to you, participating as a consultant. If you have any ideas, please let me know in a low voice. Okay. A bloated middle-aged man got off a black Mercedes-Benz sedan. Take off your glasses and look at the office building in front of you, wiping the sweat off your face with a tissue. Lu Dan, along with the company's employees, was already waiting downstairs. Seeing this situation, he quickly led everyone forward to welcome him. Mr. Xue, why did you come over in person? Hurry up. Please come inside. After shaking hands with Mr. Xue, Lu Dan said. Go up and say it. Mr. Xue led his employees ahead, with Lu Dan following behind, taking out his phone and typing quickly with one hand. Follow me to the door to pick you up. The CEO of the brand has personally come over. Chen Fei stood up elegantly, passing through the full moon with both hands from her waist and gently smoothing the folds of her skirt, and said to the simple couple. Okay. Follow consort Chen to the entrance of the company and stand sideways. Ding dong, the elevator door opened, and Mr. Xue's simple smile became even more approachable. Chen Fei took 2 steps forward and extended her hand to guide. Mr. Xue didn't say anything, the weather was too hot. Let's go to the conference room and have a drink of water first. Mr. Xue slightly extended his right hand and was about to shake hands. With a simple smile on his face, he stepped forward and held it with both hands. Hello Mr. Xue. Please come inside quickly. Chen Fei gave him a sneaky glance. These 2 consultants were specially invited by me, with very rich experience, and were prepared for our cooperation this time. Let's talk first. Upon hearing this, Xue Haibao's eyes narrowed by 2 points due to the fat on his smile. You have a heart. Wu Wuyang and his group came to the conference room and sat down. Xue Haibao took a sip of the water he had brought and said, I'm here this time to talk to Mr. Chen face about the situation. I rejected all previous plans, and I have seen our company's work capabilities. As I mentioned before, why entrust this promotional and marketing work to our company? Firstly, it's at our own doorstep. What are the issues? It's convenient for communication, and secondly, we have a very good relationship with Mr. Chen from our company. I also saw Mr. Chen's vigorous performance in taking over the company in the past 2 years, so I boldly and confidently entrusted it to our company. This. Chen Fei heard the black line all over her head, and her pen made a crisp, snap sound on the conference table. She nodded and interrupted Xue Haibao, saying. I understand Mr. Xue, your trust has been felt throughout our company. This time, you have taken some time out of your busy schedule to come over, and we are not too embarrassed to take up your valuable time. We would like to hear your specific views on this plan first. Shui Haiba's lengthy speech was cut off in his stomach, his hand extended backwards, and the employee calmly took out the documents from his briefcase and placed them on top. That's good, that's good. Let me make a long story short. The previous plans were quite good, but I still have my own prospects for entering the sports brand market this time. I want to make the sports shoes we produce this time, %hashtag. Hashtag asterisk hashtag percent hashtag. Asterisk hashtag percent star. Comma dot, and then, percent. Star dot percent. Continue. In Shui Haiba's endless language output, he nodded repeatedly with a smile on his face and leaned his neck towards Chen Fei's ear, whispering. Thanks to being able to drive a Porsche, the money earned is really not enviable. A warm breath sprayed on her ears and neck, causing her to involuntarily shrink her neck. She reached out her jade hand and twisted it hard on the outside of his thigh. The simple expression stiffened, and the eyebrows furrowed slightly, still curling around the corner of the mouth. Suppressing the pain, he quietly took down his right hand placed on the table, covered it with his smooth and tender hand, gently grasped it, took it away, and then gently rubbed and pinched the still painful thigh. Chen Fei didn't see any improvement and stopped, so she reached out and hit him again, indicating that he sounded good. That's it. Do you understand? Simple yet misunderstood, thinking she was gesturing for him to answer, quickly saying. Understood. Mr. Shui's meaning has already been expressed very clearly, right? Chapter 9. I have to clean up my own mess even if I kneel down. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Understood. Mr. Shui's meaning has already been expressed very clearly, right? As soon as he said this, everyone in the conference room looked at him one after another, and the meaning in their eyes was probably. Talents. Bully. That's amazing. Dare to accept this. Is there a problem with my own understanding ability? I didn't understand. Install. You dress up. I haven't known what old Shui and I are talking about for so many years. You just got to know each other for a while before you understood. Old Shui shone brightly into his simple eyes, full of appreciation, revealing a relieved smile. Chen Fei also looked at Jian with shock in her eyes. Her mouth, which she had opened as she was preparing to take the conversation, was now closed, and she once again reached out and twisted her hand fiercely towards his waist. Hiss. Simple and busy with his left hand protecting his waist, he noticed that everyone's strange gaze was also not right. It's okay, it's okay. I just touched the handle of the chair. Keep going, keep going. Simple and tough smile. When Chen Fei was about to speak up again to help make up for it, Shui Haiba's voice came in. As Mr. Chen said, work experience is rich. I have previously told the following people that I couldn't even convey a word clearly. Alright, I'll do you a favor, this one. Upon seeing this, Consort Chen lowered her head and supported her forehead, whispering. My surname is Jian. Advisor Jian. Oh, that's good, then Consultant Lao Jian can help me repeat my thoughts. I'll take a sip of water first. Chen Fei maintained her previous posture and looked at him sideways, with a hint in her eyes. Come on, repeat it. Let you talk nonsense and clean up the mess you've caused yourself. Circle it, I'll see how round you are. If you mess up things, you can see if I can spare you. She stared fiercely at Simplicity while pondering how to find ways to make up for it. He thought to himself. What a monkey's grandmother, a baboon. The dog said. The little rich woman kindly asked me to help, but she really helped me out. I need to make up for it. Simple hands crossed, fingers of the right hand constantly caressing the chin, thinking while pretending to be calm, he said. Mr. Shui's meaning is very clear. Let me explain my understanding. If there is anything wrong, please kindly ask Mr. Shui to correct it in a timely manner, okay? Shui Haiba nodded slightly. Mr. Shui's overall idea is that he is quite satisfied with the first few points of the plan. As Mr. Shui just mentioned, he has a personality of striving for excellence in his work. Well, this is very good and worth learning from for all of us. Shui Haiba nodded more frequently. Right. That's it. Consultant Jian seems to have a very thorough understanding of what I said, so don't go into too much detail, just focus on the key points. I'll set you up like a monkey. You now know how to get people to point out the point. Fatty head and big ears, you're like an old lady's cotton pants waist, bouncing out everything. I'll focus on your grandmother's leg. The first party of dog talk. Simple eyes flickered and seemed to be weighing something. Suddenly, his eyes lit up and he stood up. Okay, let me get to the point directly. First of all, Mr. Shui's idea for advertising and marketing plans is to summarize the first few points of the plan. In simple terms, it should not be so foreign, simple. But it should not be too simple. It should be high-end, able to catch the attention of consumers above, but also down-to-earth. In 4 words, it is high-end, atmospheric, and upscale. Secondly, for the multi-kinetic energy sports shoes produced by Shui Company, the focus of physical photography is on the black and white color matching sports shoes that are mainly launched. The extremely exquisite shooting techniques should be used to make the black part of the shoes not appear so black, but to capture the grandeur of the black connotation. Make the white side of the shoes not appear so white, and capture the shine reflected by the white color. Also, do not use post-production beautification, as it may cause distortion of the actual product. Next is the design of the promotional page for the Jianbu Feifei brand, which should enlarge the font and highlight the key points, making people want to buy it at first sight. Simply put, the whole room fell silent looking at the crowd, they all opened their mouths and widened their eyes. In the corner of the conference room, 2 people, one on the left and the other on the right, tightly grabbed the man named Sun Bo, unsure of what to do. He examined carefully and found that Sun Bo's face was filled with anger and his eyes were about to burst into flames. However, the 2 people around him reached out to cover Sun Bo's face and nodded at the simple smile. I'm not doing it anymore. Don't stop me so much. I want to kill him. Suddenly, Mr. Shui's eyes were filled with tears, and he crossed the conference table with his upper body. He reached out his hands and tightly gripped Simple, his face full of emotion. My dear friend. Shake your hands up and down. I didn't expect it, I really didn't expect it. I, old Shui, have lived for more than 50 years and unexpectedly met my lifelong confidant here. At a loss, Mr. Shui withdrew his hands, slammed the table fiercely, and turned around to stare at his employees. Take a look. Take a look. Look at what Consultant Jian said. It's just a small matter. Is it difficult? What are you guys doing to eat? Ha! Look at the Consultant Jian. What is excellence? This is excellence. Consultant Jian has completely expressed my thoughts. That's how I think. Speaking of temperament, he slammed the table again. The crowd was awakened and looked at Shui Haiba as if they had been greatly stimulated. His mother. Are you really thinking that? How dare you? Dog said to the first party, are you listening to what you are saying in human language? My surname is Jian. You must die so hard. Oh my goodness. Let the descending thunder strike and kill these 2 people. Boss. Are you trying to force them to death? Didn't you see that the opposite side is about to explode? Maybe the 800 swordsmen hidden in the dark will suddenly emerge and chop us to death with their swords. Can we still go home? Everyone had different thoughts, and Chen Fei frowned, closed her eyes and looked up, gently massaging her temples with her fingers. Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen. She opened her eyes in confusion and looked at Mr. Shui, who had already walked to her side. Talent is rare. Talent is rare. I feel relieved to see how excellent consultant Jian is. Please fully entrust this marketing cooperation to consultant Jian. Excellent people always need to be more meticulous in their work. Let's do it this way. I will be more relaxed for 3 months. After 3 months, I will hold a small banquet to celebrate everyone's success. All of you present today, be sure to show your respect then. Meanwhile, Shui Haiba crossed over Chen Fei and shook hands with Jian Zhongzhong, saying, By the way, I still have something to do today. Shui will be drinking with you another day. He's a rare confidant in life. We must celebrate. You and General Chen will be present then. Alright, there's something else, I'll go first. Everyone stood up to bid farewell, but the 3 of them still tightly hugged each other in the corner. Everyone, stay. After Shui Haiba arrived and left, everyone breathed a sigh of relief and slowly digested the scene on their chairs. Chen Fei glanced around, with an angry expression on her face and her hands on her hips. Get back to your workstation and work. Everyone dispersed like birds and beasts. Then grab the back collar of the simple shirt and drag it out. And you. Elbow. Come with me into the house. Chapter 10. Even if you die, you must die for me here. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Empress Chen led her back to the office in a fit of anger, leaving only Quancheng with a bewildered expression in the vast conference room. The situation is not right. The wind is tight. Pull it out. Take out your phone and type a message. Brother, I suddenly remembered that my 7th uncle and grandfather got married twice today. We need to take a step forward and chat back. Quancheng turned around and walked out of the office building, repeatedly looking back and sighing inwardly. Brother, take care. In the office. Simple hands embrace the chest and legs curl up and lie on the sofa, looking pitifully at the woman with hands akimbo in front of her. You're quite capable. Black has meaning, white has beauty, right? A simple and timid phrase. It's gloss. Seeing that he dared to retort, he picked up the pillow on the sofa and smashed it over. Still shiny. Believe it or not, I'll make you die with a shiny appearance later. Hold on to the thrown pillow and open your mouth to explain. I might have misunderstood. Don't be angry. I thought you wanted me to talk, but who knew you were asking me to shut up? Unfortunately. I won't listen. You keep me quiet. Lu Dan. Sitting at the office desk outside, Lu Dan was reminiscing about the scene in the conference room, smiling lightly. Suddenly hearing the greeting, my expression became solemn and I ran along the way. Mr. Chen. Chen Fei didn't turn her head back and still stared at the man who was quailing. Change a 3-year labor contract and bring it over. Change the salary and benefits section to 500 yuan per month, while keeping the rest unchanged. Okay, Mr. Chen. Not long after, I heard a low smile coming from outside the door. I looked briefly at the glass door, then turned my head back and looked at the woman in front of me who was still angry. I spoke weakly. Is she laughing at me? You don't even care. Who made you talk? Shut up. If you talk again, kill you. Dang dang dang, Lu Dan ran through the door and walked in, without looking at her, placing a small stack of A4 paper in Chen Fei's hand. After that, without even looking, he flipped his hand and threw it onto his simple curled leg, then slid down to the ground. Chen Fei, with one hand on her waist, pointed towards the floor. Pick it up. Simply take the instructions in a daze and pick up the contract that fell to the ground. Give him the pen and ink. Suddenly, a black pen and ink were placed in front of him. Sign. No. What, I have to sign it? That's too much. What are you saying? Am I excessive? I'm asking you. What are you doing at my company today? I agreed to help, right? Can you see if you've helped me? You've really helped me out. Moreover, even if you can't help, I won't blame you. But what about you? Do you speak a human language? Ah. The simple and strong aura was instantly extinguished under continuous questioning. There's nothing we can do, after all, we're at fault. We also know that we don't speak a single word of human language, and it's all because of the silly first party that dogs used to say in their past lives. If it weren't for listening to these words too much, could we just speak out loud? After simply complaining about the past life of Party A, they began to consider what to do about this matter. Although we haven't known each other for a long time, we still get along quite comfortably. The young lady, out of trust, sincerely invited us to help. If there was any benefit, she would come. If we caused trouble, we wouldn't be able to handle such a thing. But signing a 3-year work contract is not enough. Isn't it true that the late emperor was still in the middle of his entrepreneurial journey and was pulled to work to pay off his debts? Just won the big prize, just getting ready to indulge in simple depression. Lowering his head and supporting his forehead, he was lost in thought. Easy. Do you sign this contract or not? Don't make me look down on you. As soon as this sentence is spoken, how can young and energetic young men and women withstand this kind of provocation? And before his rebirth, he wasn't very old either. After all, he was still a passionate young man. You calm down first, listen to me. Chen Fei stood in high heels for so long, her legs also sore, so she took the opportunity to sit down and rest. Unscrew the unopened soda water on the table and drink it in large gulps. After drinking, he crossed his legs, propped his hands on the table, leaned forward, and stared straight into the man's eyes in a posture with extremely strong pressure. A simple and timid person dared not look at each other. Looking down, the shirt, which had become transparent due to being soaked in water, adhered to the bulging area, outlining a pattern that seemed like a peony. Unconsciously swallowing a mouthful of water, he slowly said, I will definitely take responsibility, but don't sign for so long, right? How about this? You give me 3 months, and I'll make a plan that satisfies that old Shui. Once it's completed, you let me go. If it's not completed, I'll give you 3 years of free labor. Let me go east and never go west. Do you think that's okay? After working for 3 years as a laborer, if you really can't achieve success, you can compensate them with money. After all, they are a company, and losing money is not a big deal. If they don't succeed, they can ruin their reputation and cause big problems. Chen Fei didn't notice where his gaze was, pondered for a moment, and patted her hands. Okay. That's what you said. I can trust you again, but if you can't do it this time, the losses caused to me will not only be 3 years. What does it mean? If this cooperation is not reached, I will ask the finance department to issue a formal loss statement, with a monthly salary of 3,000 yuan and a deduction of 2,000 yuan until it is fully paid off. If it is not paid off, even if you die, you will have to die for me in the company. Chen Fei finished speaking with a cold and stern expression, observing his expression and thinking to herself. Humph. I guess my sister caught you. I definitely won't let him repay it, after all, I kindly asked someone to help me. If it doesn't work out, I'll take on the responsibility myself. Anyway, we only have a cooperation of several 100,000 yuan. The employee needs to be comforted first, and we can only make him feel wronged. Let him stay in the company for 3 months, and let him go whether he still needs to pay or not. This way, I can also leave a good impression on my stinky younger brother, otherwise there won't be any room for development in the future. As soon as this sentence was spoken, it perfectly matched my simple intention and I opened my mouth to answer. Okay, if it really doesn't work out, I'll compensate you. In the evening, he walked out of the office building with a contract and work permit in hand. No need to worry about it. You messed it up. Thinking of this, I simply raised my hand and patted my mouth lightly. This broken mouth, why would it float like a lottery ticket? I dare to say anything outside. The old saying still makes sense, money is a hero's courage. Fortunately, I had a way out for myself. If I didn't win, wouldn't I be completely trapped? Let's start working honestly tomorrow. We still need to find a way to solve the planning. I've been doing this myself in my past life, so the problem shouldn't be too big. After all, I haven't even covered my own money yet. I really don't want to go out. 3 months. Simply go back home, wash your hands, and have dinner left behind after telling the old couple in advance. Have we all agreed on it yet? It's done. Simply take out the lease agreement from the bag and place it on the table, while Jane's parents carefully read it word for word. I briefly explained the explanation to Quancheng to the old couple from beginning to end. Dad, Mom, I may be very busy in the next 3 months, so don't make my portion for lunch and dinner. Okay. After chatting for a while, with the blessings and encouragement of the elderly couple, they took a shower and lay down in bed. Okay, I understand. I'll try my best to arrange everything else I can do, but when the cinema reopens, you boss must be present. In a couple of days, you need to cross-check the company's accounts with the accountant at the cinema, and just leave the rest to me. Also remember to take some time to go to the Industry and Commerce Bureau to change your business license. I'll go with Little Beard tomorrow. After explaining everything to Quancheng, hang up the phone, open the Langyin app, and search for Sports Shoe Marketing Planning Plan. On the other side, Chen Fei lay in bed, covered in a soft blanket that covered her graceful body. She leaned over to look at her phone, her expression sometimes frowning, sometimes shy and angry, and finally angrily clasped her phone to the pillow. Through chatting with her best friend Xiaoyun, I understood the meaning of the simple car language when they were alone in the office in the afternoon. Driving and teasing me, right? Easy. You wait for me tomorrow. With a lot of resentment, I closed my eyes and fell asleep. Ding-ling-ling, sitting slumped on the workstation, he heard the incoming call from the company's internal landline in front of him and picked up the microphone. Easy. Come here for a moment.